Talking about Governor Malloy's record and the problems of the citizens of Connecticut.
Can you tell us about the timing of your announcement today? There's other primaries going on, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What were your thoughts about having it today as opposed to tomorrow, the next day, next week?
It was Tuesday.
No. Well, today is Tuesday.
There's no day where there's nothing else going on, so this seemed like the best day of the ones available to us. But we wanted to get started and tell people about my plans, and we wanted to do that in September and in the first half of September. So, of all the days available, this seemed to be the one that made the most sense.
You were the 2010 nominee. You came within fewer than 6,500 votes. I think people are going to look at your announcement today and say, what exactly does he need to explore? What do you need to explore? Do you really have uncertainty, or is this, why shouldn't people view this as strategy? It's it may be an interesting strategy, but what exactly is the cause of your uncertainty after running a primary, winning a primary, and nearly becoming elected governor of Connecticut?
Well, it's still early. I think a lot's happened since 2010. I think the message is a little different. We now have had an opportunity to see what Governor Malloy's done in office. He's basically done what he said he was going to do. He's dramatically raised taxes. He hasn't done anything about spending. We're probably less business friendly in most respects than we were almost 3 years ago. And jobs are leaving the state, and so are a lot of our citizens. So it's a different election. It will be a different election in 2014, and I want to make sure that what I think the direction the state needs to head in, and who's going to provide that leadership. I want to know from people across the state that they think I'm that person before I decide finally to run.
Do you think he should not have given these incentives to like Cigna and NBC and others who have either stayed here or come here? That all of that is
Most of them don't fit the criteria for sound job incentive programs. Most, not even close.
And what about
Jackson Labs, $1 million a job. That's a lot. And $50,000 a job, maybe. You know, maybe there's an argument that it makes sense. $1 million a job is crazy, somewhere between crazy and stupid.
and the small business program that was passed with your opponent's support, your opponents, if there's a primary, I guess I should say. That's money misspent too. There's been a lot of events surrounding a lot of small businesses who think that's a wonderful thing.
What we should be doing is reducing red tape, reducing the cost of doing business, and so much of this, Mark, is attitude. And
you know, that sounds just like Dan Malloy.
The whole government is like, it's anti-business. It's ridiculous. The businesses provide jobs. They pay a lot of the government's bills. It should be, hey, what can we do for you? Instead, they're throwing obstacles in front of employers. They're raising their costs. They're throwing fees on them. Regulatory burdens. It's just dumb. It's unnecessary. Governor Malloy would have created a lot more jobs if he'd just said that he wants to ease up the burden on employers, make it easier for them. What can he do? And pull them all together and say, what can we do? Rather than spending the taxpayers' money to try and stop people from fleeing from what they see as a hostile environment. It's really dumb, really dumb.
Part and parcel of the Jackson Lab investment is a significant investment in the University of Connecticut Healthcare Center, trying to make that a center for bioscience. Do you think that was a good investment, or was that also misguided?
Well, I think most people think that governments shouldn't pick winners in investing in businesses. And I'm a great believer in that. So I think it's very risky. It could turn out, but it may not. And is it going to be worth $300 million to the taxpayers of this state? I don't think so.
As part of that, do you also not believe or agree with the numbers? They said there's going to be I don't know, 6,800 spin-off jobs from Jackson Labs. Do you not believe that, or what do you believe?
I do not believe it.
You do not
That
believe
is Malloy math all
Yeah.
over again.
And if they develop the
Where did they
cure-
come up with that number? Why
Remy
don't one of
model.
you ask them where they came up with that number?
If Jackson Labs comes up with the cure for cancer and the state shares in the copyright, that still isn't worth it? I mean, that's the kind of stuff that the Malloy people
Do
say.
you believe that?
I don't know, I'm not a research
I
scientist.
got a bridge to sell you.
And when, I guess you've left it open-ended here, when are you gonna decide? Obviously, you've got the exploratory today. Can you give us a timetable is what I'm asking?
Well, I already answered. I said when I make up my mind,
Well,
when I finally decide.
the timetable is when you decide.
If I haven't decided, how do I know when I'm gonna decide?
Well, the convention, the primary, I mean, Christmas.
Your birthday?
Do you know when my birthday is?
No.
I guarantee you
Look it
can't
up in
make
the
that.
bylaw.
Certainly by the convention.
By the convention, you'll decide whether or not you're running?
Yeah.
Keating and Hughes will figure it out.
Yeah.
For a lot of kids, particularly ones who don't have their own resources, exploratories have become under public financing an interim step that allows them to have, working political capital,
Yeah, hi, Ken, it's Mark.
unless your finances have changed markedly since 2010, you're not in that position, true? I mean, this is something else, you don't need to do that financially.
But why should I? Why should I pay for my own campaign?
It's your money.
Well, I know I can, but why should I?
No reservation about using taxpayer money for running a campaign when you could be funding it yourself?
Well, basically, they've made the rules in Connecticut so that you pretty much can't win unless you take the public financing or you write a huge check of your own. You cannot go out and raise money the traditional way and be competitive. You simply can't raise enough money. $6 million grant in a general election is significantly more than any governor has raised in the old system. And the ones who raised the most, John Rowland and Governor Ralph, were incumbents when they raised $4.5, $5.5 million. And for a non-incumbent to be able to raise that amount of money, particularly today, when they've eliminated so many people who can contribute, would be very unrealistic. So you simply can't have as much money to spend unless you are willing to write your own check. It's really not fair. I mean, why should I write a check to become governor of Connecticut?
Given the generosity of Republicans in Fairfield County, particularly to presidential candidates, why do you believe it is difficult, if not impossible, to, through traditional fundraising, match or exceed a $6 million grant?
Oh, because the legislature's purposely tried to make it so that people have to take public financing. Nobody will ever be elected governor from now on, I'll predict, from using the traditional way without supplementing it with their own funds, if they have.
Back to that question.
Thank you.